Hey Mooch Crew, down with you here, and before we jump into this video, I want you guys to know that there's a poll up in the cards right there that you can vote on. It's a hypothetical question that I want your honest opinions on. It might be for a vlog, so I don't know yet, but make sure you click the cards and vote on the poll. So, yeah, that's the thing. Go ahead, vote on that. Okay, now that that's out of the way, on to the video. Oh my gosh, is it that time of year again? Alright then, let's do this!
Kiss your fears goodbye, no looking back. You and I were on the attack, full speed ahead, running to the sunset. Such a different feeling, both of us believing we can make it better. Together we can show the world what we can do. You are next to me and I'm next to you. Push me on through until the battle's won. No one's gonna give a thing to us. Into each other we put our trust. Standing united after the fight. All alone we will never be. The two of us are holding the key. We see today a world we couldn't see. Before I say goodbye to you, one more last fist bump.
Hey, what's up Mooch Crew, it's Alan Moochiola here, and welcome to my 2018 Memorial Day Racing Preview. So, as always, for this, I'm going to recap last year's events, and give you guys my thoughts and opinions now that I've had 365 days to think about it, and actually talk about the 2018 events, and I'm going to also give you guys my predictions for all three of the events. Just a quick disclaimer, all pictures you are going to see in this video were found off of Google. I do not own them. All copyrights go to their respective owners underneath fair use for review and preview purposes. Alright, without further delay, let's dive into this video and begin this journey of a great day of racing on Sunday, May 27th, 2018. Alright, so your day begins in Monaco with the FIA Formula 1 World Championship crown jewel event, the Monaco Grand Prix. The Monaco Grand Prix stands as a historic event that began way before the FIA Formula 1 World Grand Prix Championship even was conceived, founded, and the first race was ever held. Monaco stands the test of time as always. So let's break down last year's event and see how that worked out. Last year I predicted Sebastian Vettel to win. Did I get it right? Yes, I did. So basically, I would go 1 for 3 on the day at the start. So now I'm going to talk about last year's event and see how it stacks up to what I said last year. All right, so the lights would go out in Monaco, and Sebastian Vettel would just take off and run away with the lead. He would lead for a while, and then on lap 15, you had the first DNF of the race, and as Nico Hülkenberg would bring out a local caution, as he dropped fluid on the track. So they get it cleaned up, they go back to racing, and then pit stops come into play. Kimi Räikkönen pits, gives the lead to Daniel Riccardo. Daniel Ricciardo pits, and then that gives the lead to Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian Vettel pits. You'd think Kimi Räikkönen's going to go take the lead, but the Ferrari team is successfully able to get Sebastian Vettel back onto the track in front of Räikkönen, in front of teammate Räikkönen. And they stay 1-2. Then on lap 57, a 2-car accident brings out the safety car as Pascal Wehrlein would go on his side, and Jenson Button would get taken out as well. What happened? I don't really know who caused it, but I'm not sure if Pascal was actually had pinched Button to the inside so much that he hits the wall, and then Pascal goes up, launches up over Button's side, Button's wheels and onto his side. I'm not sure if that's what happened, but that happened. Then a few laps later, while they were under a safety car, Marcus Ericsson would hit the wall. A few laps later, Stoffel Van Dorn would call it a day. Then Lance Stroll would call it a day, and after 71 laps, along with Daniel Kvyat, I'm guessing they both made contact. That would be how they end their day. Meanwhile, out front, they run the final laps. Sebastian Vettel gets ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, stays ahead of him, and wins by 3.145 seconds. Basically, that's 3.145 one-thousandths of a second. And Daniel Ricciardo would round out the podium, finishing third. So, this year, you can expect pretty much the same thing, because again, I say this, I said it last year, and I'll say it again. The racing, there cannot be any passing on Monaco, because these cars are too big for the tiny little street course. Remember, I talked about this last year, how I said they were big behemoth cars on a tiny little street track. On a tiny little street track. Well, I think we can add the word ugly giant behemoths to this. I think we can add the word ugly to giant behemoth cars. As, yes, we now have the Halo. Great. For those who are unaware, the Halo is kinda like a windshield, but not really. It doesn't block wind, and it's horrible. It makes the cars look like 180 mile per hour flip-flops. Great! A mechanical flip-flop! Just what I wanted, Mom! Thanks! Basically, not exactly a great time to be... Not a great thing to have. I mean, I guess it's successful and does get the job done, but I'm not sure. I mean, it makes the cars look ugly. I'm sorry. Not a fan of the Halo. Alright, so pretty much this year you can expect pit drama. You can expect no crashes. If there are any crashes, you'll be lucky to maybe get one, maybe two, maybe you'll get an engine failure here, there, and then, but you're not going to see a lot. You're not going to see a lot at all. Pit strategy is the name of the game in Formula 1. Alright, now to make my prediction for this year's F1 Monaco Grand Prix. Oh boy, last year I got it right with Sebastian Vettel. I don't know why, but something's telling me, I'm not sure what it is, but something's telling me that Daniel Ricciardo is going to get the win that his team robbed him of back in 2016 when he didn't have his tires ready. Yeah, that was the thing that happened. Alright, so let's move on to the next event. So, after watching the race out in Monaco, we head over to Indianapolis, Indiana, and the 2.5 mile hallowed grounds of racing, known as the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, aka the Brickyard, for the greatest spectacle in all of racing. Yep, I'm talking about the Verizon IndyCar Series event, the 102nd running of the Indianapolis 500, once again being sponsored by Pengrade Oil. Well, it's being presented by Pengrade Oil, but technically they're the headline sponsor. Alright, so last year I predicted James Hinchcliffe to win. How did I do? Well, yeah, I wound up empty-handed. Alright, so for the Indy 500 last year, we had Scott Dixon starting on the pole position. He would lead the first 5 laps of the race. Then the first caution on the day would bring out a red flag. It was overcast, and then on lap 52, it looks like. Yes, we'll go with that. 52 laps into the event, Jay Howard, who was multiple laps down, we'll give him 7 laps down. He's running 33rd, 7 laps down in his Schmidt-Peterson number 77 car. What happens? He makes contact with Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon goes flying through the air, lands on the inside retaining wall, slides across it, and miraculously and shockingly walks away unscathed. Thank God he didn't. Thank God, that could have been worse. But that would just be a sign of things to come, as there would be 3, 4, 5 wide racing all day long. Pit strategy came into play. Early on in the race, once again, the Andretti Autosports teams were the teams to beat, with Alexander Rossi, Marco Andretti, Takuma Sato, and basically anyone. If you did not have an Andretti car, good luck getting to the front of the field in the first half. In the second half, you had a better chance, as the engines problems would just start rearing their ugly heads. More on that later. But first, let's talk about some of the other cars that crashed out. 65 laps in, Jack Harvey and Connor Daly get knocked out thanks to a crash. I think they made contact with each other. Buddy Lazier made contact with the wall, and that took him out. That was on lap 118. Buddy Lazier got knocked out. On lap 125, Sage Kiram was having a good run, and then he had a mechanical issue that took him out. Ryan Hunter-Way on lap 136 had an engine problem. That knocked him out. Zach Veach had a mechanical issue. That knocked him out. Charlie Kimball, a mechanical issue in his Chip Ganassi Racing Honda. That knocked him out of the race. Fernando Alonso, who was having a really good day, as he led 27 laps. Started 5th, led 27 laps. 179 laps in, mechanical issue. Then came a 5-car pileup on lap 183 that had willpower. My pick, James Hinchcliffe, Oriel Servia, James Davison, and Joseph Newgarden, in the 2017 IndyCar Series champion. Yeah. Finish. Newgarden would go on and finish the race about 14 laps down in 19th. He finished 186 laps. He was able to repair the car. Well, that was good news. However, for Power, Hinchcliffe, Servia, and Davison, they were all out after that 5-car crash. So, and near the end of the race, you had Max Chilton out front. He looked primed to actually take the win. However, he could not hold off Elio Castroneves and Takuma Sato. Takuma Sato and Elio Castroneves started putting on a battle for the win. Basically, Elio had a run, but however he couldn't get around Sato on the outside. Sato was able to drive away, and then Takuma Sato rounds off turn number 4 on the final lap to take the checkered flag and make history as the first ever Japanese driver to win the Indianapolis 500. And of course, I do want to bring up this stat. I'm going to bring up some stats from this race, so listen closely. The cautions, they had 11 cautions for 50 laps. That's like, I don't know, 100 miles maybe? I'd have to divide that. Then you have one red flag, that was for Scott Dixon. You had a whopping 35 different lead changes among a race high 15 different drivers. Wow. And the average speed was a 155.4 miles per hour. Probably would have been faster if it wasn't for, all the contact that was being made. But contact is a part of racing, and I am glad it is, because that's kind of part of what makes me love racing. You don't need contact. You don't need a lot of contact, but contact in racing is good. Wrecks are also welcoming every now and then, but if you have too many of them, it just kind of bogs down the race, and it makes it boring. I just thought I'd bring that up. So this year, we have the Universal Aero Kit on track, and my gosh, is it something. And it is just something out it's just amazing to watch these drivers drive these cars. No bumper ponds, just thank God those are gone. And so we are looking at the 2018 Indianapolis 500 once again being the best race on the day. Once again, with 3, 4, 5 wide racing, pit strategy, contact, maybe occasional wrecks. So I'm expecting the full racing package in Indianapolis. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, this year's pole sitter is going to be Ed Carpenter. Ed Carpenter scored the pole on Sunday, so definitely something to be excited for if you're an Ed Carpenter fan. But if you're not a fan of Ed Carpenter, might I give you my prediction? I don't know why, but I think this is the year we are going to see Will Power win the Indianapolis 500. 2014 champ. He can do it. He can do it. So we're going to see if Will Power can do it on Sunday. Is Will Power going to win the 500 on Sunday? I hope he does, because I'm predicting him to win. So now, 2 events down, 1 more to go. Let's move on to the final event. So you spent the morning watching Monaco, then you moved on and watched Indianapolis in the afternoon. There's 1 more race to go. It takes place at night, and it's the longest night in stock car auto racing. Yep, it's that time of year again. It's time for the Coca-Cola 600. Like I said, this is NASCAR's longest night, and traditionally, and has been a well-standing tradition for Memorial Day weekend, ever since it was conceived, I guess. I don't know. Actually, so the original plan was to have it on Memorial Day racing weekend, and the first event actually got held in October, and then it finally got moved. It finally got held on Memorial Day, and then racing on Memorial Day weekend, and then they started running the 600 miles. It was formerly known as the World 600. So the history behind this event is definitely one reason to watch. Another reason to watch is the beautiful paint schemes. Once again, last year, some teams actually sported some very amazing NASCAR American Salute schemes, and those should be showing up on your screen right now. As you can see, there was Austin Dillon. I'm just going to rattle them off as they go. You had Michael McDowell, you had Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Brad Keselowski, just to name a few, and then there were not so well-known names like Landon Castle, David Reagan, Ty Dillon had an American Salute scheme. You had both the BK racing cars have American Salute schemes. So basically, those were pretty good schemes. All the rest pretty much ran standard or Or they ran a special scheme that wasn't American Salute, but, you know, they were a paint scheme. Anyway, let's talk about last year's event. So I predicted Chase Elliott to win. How did I do in that prediction? Do you see this pen? Now imagine this is my prediction. Yeah, much like James Hinchcliffe, it went out the window. Let's break it down. Alright, so I had to watch this race online via NASCAR Drive, and I didn't get to watch the full event when it happened. So basically, I'm just recapping. I'm reading a race stats chart for what happened. Okay, here we go. So Kevin Harvick leads the field to the green flag in the Coca-Cola 600, leads the first lap, then he gets loose the very next lap in turn 3. Kyle Busch is able to take advantage of that, and he takes the lead on the high side. This leads to a very uneventful opening of the race. Until lap 19, when Jeffrey Earnhardt has a piece of his car fall off. That gets hit by Chase Elliott's car, which causes the car to burst into flames, and also throwing my prediction right out the window. Near the start-finish line, Keselowski's trying to make a pass at Martin Truex Jr. When Elliott's car is slowing down in front of him, he attempts to veer away before it's too late, and he slams into the rear of Elliott, causing him to get knocked out of the race as well. That brings out the first caution. And also brings out the competition caution, so that worked. So anyway, the race would restart on lap 28 and would be only interrupted by green flag pit cycles on lap 67, where Truex comes out the race leader. He remains unchallenged until Kyle Busch runs him down, and that was on lap 87. On lap 89, Kyle Busch goes by, takes the lead, leads the rest of the event. The rest of the stage to win the first stage. So he runs all the way to the conclusion of stage 1, leads lap 100. Stage winner, Kyle Busch. So stage number 2, Truex got a superior restart, took the lead back on 108. Harvick settles into second, but then he's forced to make an unscheduled stop for a loose left rear wheel on lap 125. Then on lap 141, as they're racing into turn number 1, Matt Benedetto has a right front tire go down, and then he runs into the wall, bringing out the third caution. And then came the rain. Yep, the rains came down and lasted for over 90 minutes.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
After that, they would finally get the track cleaned up, and the race would resume on lap 154, where Jimmy Johnson would reel in Martin Truex Jr., but thanks to clean air being God, Truex Jr. is able to maintain the race lead and prove too much for Johnson to even try and make a pass for the lead. So that run lasts 20 laps when the caution flies for the 4th time on lap 174, when Danica Patrick cuts a right side tire, gets out of the racing groove, but doesn't make contact with the wall. Blaney, who was running top 5 at the time, breaks a rear axle exiting pit road, so he's got to go to the garage and get that repaired. He does. Paul Menard stays out to save a set of save tires, but he quickly falls to the back thanks to driver as drivers who have fresh tires go right by him. The final 21 laps of the stage were uneventful, as Martin Truex Jr. would, well, at least for the race leader, Martin Truex Jr., as he would go on and win stage number 2. And this is where I was forced to stop watching the race, and this is where I had to this is where I was forced to watch the replay, and basically it led to me and then I practically never watched it again. Anyway, stage number 3, the race resumes on lap 205, settles into a green flag run, and Truex Jr. once again is in control. It looks like he's en route to win stage number 2, but then a caution comes out on lap 245 when Ty Dillon blows an engine, bringing out caution number 6. Kevin Harvick runs 10th. He spins out into the trail of oil left by Ty Dillon. Casey Kane runs through the oil and slams the wall in turn 3. Kyle Larson makes contact in the wall with turn 4, but he manages to make it to pit road, repair the damage, and get back out there. Johnson pits under the prior caution. Actually, yeah, he pit under the prior caution. He stays out, and he assumes the lead. It was short-lived. Truex Jr. gets away from Jimmy Johnson on the lap 252 restart. This settles into a green flag run and is halted when Kyle Larson slams the turn 1 wall after suffering a right front blown tire on lap 292. This forces the race to restart on lap 297. Actually, 298. There are 3 laps to go. They completed 297. There are 3 laps left. Stenhouse Jr. just spins the tires and holds up everybody on the outside line. Denny Hamlin goes right by and would lead the final 3 laps all the way to the victory of stage number 3. So at this point, there are 450 miles down. Very different telltale from what we had last year when the race only had 4 cautions and not many lead changes, as Truex was just impossible to pass. And I mean, like, he was literally impossible to pass. So anyway, the race restarts with 94 laps to go on lap 307, as they completed 296, yeah. Anyway, 94 laps to go. They're on lap 306. Oh yeah, they did complete 306 laps. So 306 laps down, 94 to go. Truex catches up to Kyle Busch and remains on his tail. Caution flies for the 9th time when Danica Patrick goes in the wall in turn 3. Again. Yes, again. So anyway, Truex takes the lead back from Kyle Busch on the ensuing restart with 67 laps to go, and holds it until the final cycle of green flag stops with 33 to go. Johnson, along with 6 other drivers, decided it's a brilliant idea to play fuel strategy rather than pit. So Truex and Busch had fresher tires, and they make their way to the field, and they cut the deficit to 3.5 seconds back of Jimmy Johnson on lap 399 with 2 laps to go. Jimmy Johnson runs out of fuel. This allows Austin Dillon to go by, assume the race lead. He has enough fuel to make it to the white flag, and enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. Kyle Busch finishes 2nd, Martin Truex Jr. finishes 3rd. For Austin Dillon, this was his first win, and also for NASCAR, the first win of the number 3 car. The first win for the 3 car since Dale Sr. in Talladega of 2000. Controversial because not many people think Austin Dillon should be in the 3 car. Alright, so listen. So basically, I predicted Chase Elliott to win stage 1. I mean, the race, and yeah, no. He didn't. Dillon won that. Like, that was just fun. So, can we expect something like that to happen this year? No. And I will tell you all why. I am telling you right now, we are not going to be in for a great Coca-Cola 600 this year because the aero package sucks. And I mean, it sucks with a capital. Sucks. Basically, there's no ride height, so now there's no air going underneath the car. Basically meaning that you can't even so much as catch the leader now. Which means he can get out to this huge lead, this huge window of a lead. And then, on top of that, you have this small, tiny spoiler on the back of the car, which takes downforce off the rear of the car, which now makes these cars aero-dependent, which means clean air is gone once more, and now more than ever. Now, last week's All-Star race was very good. The All-Star Open, I mean, I keep calling it the Open. I mean Showdown. I really prefer the Showdown to the Open. It's just, I say Open sometimes out of force of habit. Anyway, All-Star Showdown. Great race. The Showdown was a great race. You had 3 amazing finishes. 3 amazing finishes. Right there. And then the All-Star race itself was great. Sure, Kevin Harvick won again, but still, it was a great race. But basically, what happens is when you have this low downforce, we have so little downforce that nobody can make passes. Welcome to 2015, where everybody had too much downforce and nobody can make passes. Let me tell you something. And I'm going to point out something that the real Radman said in his video on what NASCAR should do. There are two ways this aero package can go. We can go back to what we had with mechanical, where it wasn't all about being good, where it wasn't all about being aero dependent, and it was all being about skill, having everything working your way, some luck, everything else. But NASCAR it's looking like NASCAR wants to go in the direction of the wide open racing. Here, again, like Radman, I don't think that's the answer. Let me tell you something. Let's talk about Atlanta. Do you really want to go wide open at Atlanta? No, you don't. Because Atlanta's asphalt is old. It's worn out. It's basically what would happen is they try to go wide open, and then you can just cue the tires blowing. Cars going up the racetrack into the wall, bring out yet again a caution. And you can rinse and repeat that for 344 laps. Resulting in what I think would be a very boring race. See, if you have too many wrecks, if the race gets marred down and you hardly see any green flag racing and it gets boring. So what they would have to do is drivers would have to let up off the throttle. They can't be wide open in Atlanta because that asphalt is old. And this leads to a whole new problem. So now you got a lift going into the corner. Okay, you're saving your tires. Good for you. But now nobody can make passes. Nobody wants to make passes. This is because of the restrictor plates. The plates are going to be the death of NASCAR if they implement them for every track. Atlanta would be a nightmare. I can think of a few other tracks that would be a nightmare. The only tracks I can really see benefiting from this aero package are Indianapolis, Michigan, Pocono. Maybe Auto Club would actually have an extra benefit of these restrictor plates. But I don't know about Auto Club. I do like Auto Club. The short tracks, Atlanta, Dover, those tracks would not like the restrictor plates. Those tracks would have boring races year in and year out. Atlanta and Dover because of so many cautions. Bristol because nobody can make passes. Richmond, probably for the same reason. Martinsville, oh my gosh. Where did all the good action go? Why are they pack racing at Martinsville? This should not be a thing. That's another reason why I think pack racing at short tracks would not work. They're so small. There's not enough room to go 3 wide. Just saying. Alright, I've gone on about that long enough. So, it's time to make my prediction for the Coca-Cola 600. Oh, last year I predicted Chase Elliott and I didn't get it right. And Austin Dillon's win told me to expect the unexpected. So, with that being said, I think this year's race winner is going to be... I think it's going to be Kurt Busch. No, I don't think so. I don't think it'll be Kurt Busch. I'm just messing with you guys. No, seriously, it would be cool if Kurt Busch did win, though. I honestly really think it's going to be Chase Elliott this year. I think we're finally going to see it. We're going to see Chase Elliott take home his first checkered flag, and it'll be the first of many checkered flags en route to the championship this year. Or at least the championship floor, because I have Kyle Larson winning the title. Well, here goes nothing. So, once again, my picks are for Monaco, you have Daniel Riccardo. For Indy 500, you have Will Power. And for the Coca-Cola 600, you have Chase Elliott. Those are my predictions for this year's Memorial Day racing weekend. Alright, so with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. So my question for you and everyone in the comment section, so go comment down below now that you've watched this video. Who do you think is going to win the Monaco Grand Prix, Indy 500, and Coca-Cola 600? Don't bother with the stages. I just want to hear your predictions for the race winner, because stage racing is a pile of shit. Yes, I said it. And I will continue to say so until they shut it down and NASCAR realizes, oh, that was a bad idea. Because I've been saying that since 2017! Alright guys, that'll do it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you haven't yet, make sure you check out my friends' channel. Subscribe to all of them in the descriptions down below. Follow me on social media. All my social media handles are in the description down below as well. Check out my Twitch channel. I live stream on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays on the dot. Unless I can't do that, then you can catch me on Tuesdays, Wednesdays as well. Just thought I'd throw that out there. And also, you can join my Discord server. Yes, where we can talk racing, sports, gaming, all that cool stuff. Link to the Discord invite is in the description down below as well. So that's going to be cool. So don't forget to join my Discord if you haven't yet. So, with that out of the way, that'll do it for this video. Don't forget to keep on dancing, move your feet to the beat, and remember, until we get down the pipeline, I'm Alan, and I'm out of here. I'll see you guys in my next video. Here comes the outro. Break it down now.